Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to the Vision of Love show. My name is Michael Alpough, and it's my pleasure to bring love and encouragement and whatever it is that we decide that we need to make it through each day in these changing times. I want to wish a happy Easter out to everyone. I know this is a big holiday. Certainly was a big holiday for me when I was growing up. My mom fixed a big ham, and we're a big time Catholic. So back in those days, people just showed up at the door. Hey, Uncle Joseph's here. He's got Shirley and Sylvia and Mary and Ricky and Charles and Mel Jean, Eddie, Sylvia. Shout out to the Howards. Happy Easter again, everybody here. Today's a special day. This is my first time broadcasting in the morning. I will be broadcasting in the morning. I'm planning on doing 3 shows a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. Why? Well, because we always need reminders how to love ourselves. So for this next half hour, I'm going to just give you some words of encouragement. Today is a day of rising. So today I'm going to talk about to dare to love yourself. I dare you to love yourself more than ever. Give yourself a hug. That's a shout out to one of my mentors, Halcyon, Hug Nation, one of my burner friends. Also, can never not forget all my burner people. Shout out to Trifecta and all the people out my burners. I went to 8 Burning Mans, 8 different, completely different journeys. So Easter is a rising. In the Easter culture, Jesus rose from the dead, and it's a symbol for all of us that rising from our circumstances, rising from our ashes. I dare you to rise from your ashes. You see, it's a fact now. Everything is changing. Everything. Everything. Is there nothing right now that we can keep the same? Yes. How we think about it. See, I am what I think about. We're always going to come back to what it is. It's how you think about it. And today is how you think about it. Now, some people will call this, it's a religious holiday. Well, yeah, it is. It's a religious holiday. But there's something in it for all of us. The rising. See, are you being forced to change? Are we being forced to change? That's the decision on what we must decide. Because everything is about decisions. You have choices or options, but that decision is how you think about it and how you have to live within your mind. Now, I've written some songs in my life, and one of my lines that I've written, that very few lines I remember, but one that always hits me is, I'm alone inside my mind with nowhere to run or hide. So you can't run from your thoughts. You can't run from the actions that you're creating within the framework of your mind, which affects the mind, the body, and the soul within. Now, I am of a belief that we all go on. We all go on. For those who don't think that, I understand, because you are what you think about. At the end of the day, I am yours. You are mine. You are what you are. And there is this acceptance that's hard for us to accept each other based on our decisions of life. Now, if someone's into criminal activity or things that are not, that can get you in trouble, then those are the decisions about who to hang out with. But if you have a regular people that you're living in a normal lifestyle, or, not in trouble, then again, there's still that part where, do I accept you for who you are and what you are? It's simple. So here we are in the midst of this change. Are you being forced to change? It's all how you look at it. What's being created here is, what I see is this division, this dividing of us through all the different elements that have been created when the virus hit. This is one of the reasons why I'm also here, is because we're all discombobulated. I want to give a shout out to my mother-in-law, Verona, who we went to go see. We took her out, had a nice lunch. We had a good time just talking about everything. But it's so different because our conversations now change. Have you noticed how your conversations changed? It's not like sports and I'm going to go to a bar and I went to go see this movie. I went out on a nice date. I just came back from Europe. I just came back from going down to the Ozarks. I just came from the beach. You don't hear this stuff. You haven't been hearing this. I went to my favorite Mexican restaurant. I had a big birthday party. Yeah. These things are not being said. Hey, shout out to the wife. Great coffee, honey. Even our language is changing. Our language. How do we speak? What's the proper etiquette now? It's like everything's changed. Are you going to take the shot? Did you take the shot? Can you get the shot? What's it going to do to you? Are you going to be able to get another job, the same job that you had? Are you still stuck at home? And that's where the thing that came down to me was, when we left our mother after we dropped her off, we realized again, she's there by herself. People aren't socializing, her neighbors. It's not as friendly as it was. It's not that it's not free-born friendly, but everyone's staying in their home. I know we've been on lockdown for since February. Some of us, have had to wait for stimulus checks. Some of you are still waiting for them. Some of you've gotten them. I'm happy for you. If you got your unemployment to keep you going, I'm happy for you. If you still have your job, I'm happy for you. What is this bringing to us? Well, it's bringing an unsettling. It really is. It's bringing an unsettling place for us, all of us. Who do we trust? What do we trust? The extreme on both sides. How do we come to the middle? You have the people who think if you wear a mask, you're a zombie. You have the people that think if you don't wear a mask, you don't have a brain. To me, this is America. If I see someone not wearing their mask or wearing a mask, doesn't matter to me. I'm wearing mine. So that's my decision. So whether or not I'm being called a zombie or whether or not I'm being called someone who's getting in line, and see, this is a whole nother thing. Are we getting in line for all these things that keep coming our way? What are the outside forces that are bombarding us? How do we deal with it? Well, first and foremost, how about an I love you, best friend? Did you say since you've been watching my show, have you looked in the mirror and said I love you? Best friend? Here's the best friend. Me, Michael. Let's let that just settle in for a minute. How are we going to react? This is a day, this Easter Sunday. It symbolizes rising from your circumstances, being above board to save yourself within the framework of your being. Now, so many of us that have been alone, all by yourself, sitting in an apartment. This is a really good time if you haven't thought about it. It's a really good time to go and save an animal. We can't tell you. Of course, I lost my baby, Izzy. Last year. Lost my father last year. And I've had to think of pause too. I believe they rose and are still around. Our loved ones are. I can feel it. So maybe sometimes you can. If you've lost an animal, friend, and a lot of us have, because we don't get to keep them as long. I just want to know I send you special love for people today who want to celebrate this day. Maybe you're out of town and your family are at home. Maybe you've lost everyone. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing this show now, is just simply because it's my time. I've had enough experience to share ways that you can get out of any circumstance. And it starts with, I am what I think about. And I love you, best friend. It's so easy, yet so difficult because it seems so simple. Perhaps you need to be on a medication. They're pushing you to do meds. You do know that there is the highest rate of suicide basically in the history of our country that's going on right now. People are getting sick. Today I'm going to go visit my mother, who's in a memory facility. I can't touch her when I go see her. You have to look through a window. Be at a door, thick glass. You don't tell me things haven't changed and we're being forced to change? So how do we cope with this? No, we the whole thing is, again, how am I going to think about it? And then in this decision, are you your best friend? Or are you your own worst enemy? Are we going to allow these hard times where it's just gas has gone up, rent's gone up, food's gone up, taxes getting ready to go up? Are we going to be staying in our house? Is the epidemic going to increase? Is there going to be civil unrest? Obviously, the political system is having technical difficulties. And so the reason for us is to always ask these questions. Are you your best friend or are you your own worst enemy? How do you change that? I love you, best friend. I love you, best friend. So you can change that immediately. There was a time when I was my own worst enemy, and that was for a couple decades, and I'm not kidding, of understanding what that meant. The funny thing is, if I was the people pleaser that I used to be, just think about how it would be right now, because you're not around people that you can people please. You're not even around anybody. So now it's time to please yourself. This brings us to our next point. I'm doing the best to live my life. I'm doing the best to live my life, y'all. And in doing that, I'm an adult of my mind. I'm an adult of my mind. And how does that begin? By being an adult of my thought. I'm an adult of my thought. First, I'm an adult of my mind, followed by I'm an adult of my thought. You know, there are just a few times in your life, some more than others, where you're in a situation of life or death. And today I want to tell you a story that happened to me as I was pondering what I was going to be talking about. It's a hard story to tell, but I think it fits this day. On May the 4th, 2011, I was living in Mexico, Rosarito, by the way. And before I say this story, I'll tell you this story. I love Mexican. I loved Mexico. I love Mexico. It was a great time. Everybody was really nice, and it's a beautiful country, steeped in a lot of tradition. And so this is no knock on the Mexican people. Okay. I'm not ever going to tell you not to go to Mexico. It's a beautiful country, and Rosarito was really a nice place. I lived there for over a year and a half. What happened was I befriended some people down there and hired them. 3 brothers, or yeah, 2 brothers and a cousin. One was married, had a child. And basically I adopted them. They were like 18, 19, 20-year-olds trying to start. It's just very difficult to make a living down there. And just to give you an idea, a peso is considered $1 down there, and $1 down there is considered $10. $10 is considered $100 down there. So you can imagine why they want us to come down, okay, and spend our money, because it's 10 times more valuable. And by the way, if you wonder why people are coming over the border, I went to Walmart, and they paid them $1 an hour. $1 an hour. And so in that, you would come up and go pay for your groceries, and there would be the lady who's grocerying. And then right at the end was their kid, some as little as 3rd grade, who would bag your groceries. And so the kid was so cute. Here you get your change, right? And you give him $0.25. Or you might even give him $1. And how they made it was that the child would make more money bagging the groceries than they made, being the checker. Okay. So for us, we really helped them coming down there. So it was about 11 o'clock. I was getting ready to move back up to California, Fallbrook, where I had been living. And about 11 o'clock, I heard someone yelling, and I looked out the window, and it was these 3. And so I'm like, what are they doing here? So I go to the door, and they said, oh, I've got a gift for you. I know you're leaving tomorrow, for helping, all the help you've ever done for me. I'm like, well, that's a little suspicious, but again, I tried to play it off. So we went to, instead of taking him in the house, I took him to one of our storage areas. It's kind of a bigger storage area. And when I opened the door to turn the light, I looked out of the corner of my eye, and I saw him drop. He had a blue bag. He dropped the bag, and he pulled out a shotgun. I saw it. My back was to him at first, but I saw him out of the corner of my eye, because I do P90X, and it causes you to do all stretches where you can see further than you normally would. And I turned and grabbed that shotgun with my right hand. Bam! And first of all, I'm in my own shock. But if you live in the moment, which is one of the things we're going to be talking about too, is living in the moment, I grabbed that shotgun, and the next thing I know, another guy came in and grabbed me by the other arm. So I've got both arms being held, and they were beating my face, trying to make me get loose. So I pushed him out into the courtyard where we got down on the ground. At the same time, they're beating me in the face. And then I see the third guy come running behind my truck. And it was a full moon that night. And I saw this shiny silver thing that gleamed off on his hand. And I saw he had a knife. And we're all on the ground now. He comes down and he tries to stab me, and P90X. I took this left P90X leg and kicked him back. And I'm still fighting and holding on to the shotgun. Then he decides, I got him upset. And he came at me this time. And I mean, he took a plunge and went right at my heart. And I had my elbow down. He stabbed me in the arm. And I still kicked him back. This was the moment, ladies and gentlemen. This was the moment. I was losing my energy. Let me just say, not one time did I get scared. I even took a pause after I pushed him back on that second time, and no, I ain't gonna get a third. So I actually laughed. You are what you think about. I laughed. And when I laughed, all of a sudden I got more energy. And I got somehow up my legs up underneath me. And I lifted these guys up and kind of threw them off me. But in the process, I let go of the shotgun. And the guy got up to point the gun at me. Well, I grabbed onto his brother, the other guy that was on this side. I was able to hold on to him because I know he wasn't going to fire that gun at him. And somehow I was able to slide up underneath my truck with the tailgate down because I was packing my stuff. And I slipped into the house and ran into the house where I thought that they were going to run after me. Well, come to think about it, I thought they were. Well, they didn't. What happened was they actually ran. During the whole time I was screaming, please, somebody help me. I'm being robbed. I'm being robbed. I don't even know how I had all that energy. P90X. Somebody heard me and came running down, called the police. And they came and picked them up, and they took them immediately to jail. They each got 4.5 years on that assault. I can go into that a little bit more, but I made it. I knew I've had my destiny to go to. And that's to talk with you all. So as we end here, when your mind gets troubled, fill it with love. Have a wonderful Easter. Have a great day. And we'll be back again. I still got more to tell about that story, but it's going to be interesting. Have a wonderful day, and I love your best friend.